Santorini is a Greek island in the southern Aegean Sea, about 200 kilometers southeast from its mainland. It is the largest island of a small, circular archipelago formed by the Santorini caldera. It is the southernmost member of the Cyclades group of islands, with an area of approximately 28 square miles and a 2021 census population of 15,480. The municipality of Santorini includes the inhabited islands of Santorini and Therasia, as well as the uninhabited islands of Nea Kameni, Palaia Kameni, Aspronisi and Christiana. The total land area is 90.623 km². Santorini is part of the Thira regional unit. The island was the site of one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded history, the Minoan eruption, which occurred about 3,600 years ago at the height of the Minoan civilization. The eruption left a large caldera surrounded by volcanic ash deposits hundreds of meters deep. It is the most active volcanic center in the South Aegean volcanic arc, though what remains today is chiefly a water-filled caldera. The volcanic arc is approximately 500 kilometers long and 20 to 40 kilometers wide. The region first became volcanically active around 3 to 4 million years ago, though volcanism on Thira began around 2 million years ago with the extrusion of dacitic lavas from vents around Akrotiri. Santorini was named by the Latin Empire in the 13th century, and is a reference to Saint Irene. From the name of the old church in the village of Parissa, the name Santorini is a contraction of the name Santa Irini. Before then, it was known as Calyst or Thera. The ancient name Thera, for Theras, the leader of the Spartans who colonized and gave his name to the island, was revived in the 19th century as the official name of the island and its main city, but the colloquial Santorini is still in popular use. Excavations starting in 1967 at the Akrotiri site under Spyrite and Marinitos have made Thera the best-known Minoan site outside Crete, homeland of the culture. The island was not known as Thera at this time. Only the southern tip of a large town has been uncovered, yet it has revealed complexes of multi-level buildings, streets, and squares with remains of walls standing as high as 8 meters, all entombed in the solidified ash of the famous eruption of Thera. The site was not a palace complex as found in Crete, nor was it a conglomeration of merchant warehousing. Its excellent masonry and fine wall paintings reveal a complex community. A loom workshop suggests organized textile weaving for export. This Bronze Age civilization thrived between 3000 and 2000 BC, reaching its peak in the period between 2000 and 1630 BC. The Cyclades are part of a metamorphic complex that is known as the Cycladic Massif. The complex formed during the Miocene and was folded and metamorphosed during the Alpine orogeny around 60 million years ago. Thera is built upon a small non-volcanic basement that represents the former non-volcanic island, which was approximately 9 by 6 kilometers. The basement rock is primarily composed of metamorphosed limestone and schist, which date from the Alpine orogeny. These non-volcanic rocks are exposed at Micros Profitidus Elias, Mesa Vuno, the Gavrilos Ridge, Pyrgos, Monolithos, and the inner side of the caldera wall between Cape Plaka and Athenios. The metamorphic grade is a blue schist facies, which results from tectonic deformation by the subduction of the African plate beneath the Eurasian plate. Subduction occurred between the Oligocene and the Miocene, and the metamorphic grade represents the southernmost extent of the Cycladic blue schist belt. Santorini's primary industry is tourism, particularly in the summer months. Agriculture also forms part of its economy, and the island sustains a wine industry. The economic life of Santorini before 1960, when the flow of foreign visitors to the island for tourist purposes gradually began, was based on crops and trade. In the middle of the 19th century, Santorini had great commercial activity with foreign countries and especially with Russia, where it exported all of its wine production. Because of its unique ecology and climate and especially its volcanic ash soil, Santorini is home to unique and prized produce such as the Santorini cherry tomato. Viticulture, whose history goes back to prehistoric times, could not remain unaffected by the rapid increase in tourism, where there was a gradual decrease. Viticulture is the most important sector of agricultural production in Santorini. The traditional architecture of Santorini is similar to that of the other Cyclades, with low-lying cubicle houses, made of local stone and whitewashed or limewashed with various volcanic ashes used as colors. These colors, in recent years, tend to replace white in the color of house facades, according to the traditional architecture of the island as it was developed until the Great Earthquake of 1956. When strong earthquakes struck the island in 1956, half the buildings were completely destroyed and a large number suffered repairable damage. The underground dwellings along the ridge overlooking the caldera, where the instability of the soil was responsible for the great extent of the damage, needed to be evacuated. Most of the population of Santorini had to emigrate to Piraeus and Athens.